So could this silent killer be rearing its ugly head in the Libyan war? And what would be the toxic toll on the people there? For more, we turn to former U.S. Marine Kenneth O'Keefe. He is the managing director for the Samuni Project and joins us live from Gaza. Kenneth, thank you so much for being here. It's great to have you back. Now, you served as a U.S. Marine in the 1991 Gulf War, which unfortunately is one of the first times where depleted uranium was used on the battlefield. Talk a little bit about your personal experiences with DU munitions.
Well, I didn't know anything about it when I was in the Marines back in the early 90s, and I only found out about it later and realized that, I was in the areas where this stuff was used. And my ex-wife actually had a couple of miscarriages by me, and at that point I started to realize that I might very well have inhaled some of these DU dust fragments. And my wife, actually, our 2.5-year-old son was born two months early a couple years back, and I can tell you that there was some fear of what I have seen happening to the Iraqi people. I've been to Basra in southern Iraq. I visited the children's hospital down there, and I have seen the effects. They have photo album after photo album of these babies that don't even look human. And I think that the use of depleted uranium is pretty much the definition of crime against humanity.
A definition of crime against humanity, those are powerful words there, but you would think that, given the blowback effect for our own soldiers, that there would be some sort of change in the system, that we wouldn't continue to use these weapons when there's, I can understand, okay, maybe we're not as concerned for other countries' lives, not that that's okay, but obviously that seems to be the line of thought here. Why not protect our own men and women who are coming into contact with these weapons?
Well, the sad reality is that using the so-called heroes, I was called a hero, as were all of us in the first Gulf War, we are nothing more than cannon fodder. That's the reality. They use experimental drugs on us during the Gulf War, of which I was a participant. They gave us experimental drugs, so it's not just even DU. We're talking about the same thing that Adolf Hitler did to the Jews and Gypsies was done to us by our own government. Radiation experiments have also been done on U.S. troops. And so to even think that the high-ranking officials in charge of the U.S. military care at all about the troops is pure fantasy. They don't care about the lower-ranking troops at all, and they use us in the most obscene of ways. And when we come home and have health problems or mental problems or are losing our homes, does the government help us? No, they do not. So why would we live under the illusion that the high-ranking officials care about us? They do not. They don't care about us, and they certainly don't care about the enemy.
And nowhere was that more evident, I think, in the budget shutdown debate when we almost saw our men and women on the front lines not getting paid as a result of the posturing here in Washington. But back to Libya, given the use of these depleted uranium munitions in Iraq and Kosovo, do you think, even though the NATO officials and U.S. officials insist they are not being used in Libya, do you think that depleted uranium could now be seeing action on Libyan soil?
First off, why would we believe to the commanders in the theater there? Why would we believe anyone in the high-ranking positions of the U.S. government or the Israeli government, the British government? I mean, they're all patent liars. And for us to think that they wouldn't use these munitions would be beyond naivete. Of course they will. And of course they'll do everything to cover it up, as they always do. And the bottom line is, until people become more dialed in and actually start caring about this issue, it's going to continue. And the thing that really is important to realize is, as I think your report really made clear, these DU dust fragments, they pick up and actually can be lifted up into the upper atmosphere and blown into the jet stream and actually reach destinations thousands and thousands of miles away. So this stuff is spreading all around the planet. This is seriously a crime against humanity, and it is high time that international law is finally, once and for all, applied, and those that are giving the orders to use this stuff are held to account.
Now, unfortunately, it doesn't really look like there's going to be that kind of holding to account, because it seems that no one is really covering this issue. Unfortunately, we're out of time, but thank you so much for your time, and I hope to have you back on. That was former U.S. Marine and activist Kenneth O'Keefe.